There's this topic about the city, then it's really hard to deal with them, then they make the process really hard. Well, that was not my experience. I can tell you, I was a little bit nervous to do all the process with, permit, zoning, building. From the beginning to the end, I had a very smooth process. There was a group of people working with the city for my project. Dania was like a mediator, and she was always making sure that everything was gonna be smooth. And Mr. Dell, he took time off his work to meet us here with my contractor to make sure that we were doing things correctly. I don't see that happening in other cities. I network with other business owners in Gilbert, Scottsdale, and the way how this city is, it's very particular. They're really good because we're a small community, so we're family at the end of the day, I think, and that's how they treat you. They don't treat you just as a business owner, they care about you. They really care about your business. Like when at the moment you think, oh my God, how stressful, it's at the end of the day, you realize as a business owner, they're trying to protect you. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I got an email from the city a year ago or so, and that kind of motivated me, along with our own goals as a family, to look into a perfect space for our business, for our vision. We decided to purchase our own property. My son is 18, so we didn't want to commit to another 5 years of lease. We did all the process with the city, and we found this perfect location. There's this topic about the city, then it's really hard to deal with them, then they make the process really hard. Well, that was not my experience. I can tell you, I was a little bit nervous to do all the process with, permit, zoning, building. From the beginning to the end, I had a very smooth process. There was a group of people working with the city for my project. Dania was like a mediator, and she was always making sure that everything was gonna be smooth. And Mr. Dell, he took time off his work to meet us here with my contractor. To make sure that we were doing things correctly. I don't see that happening in other cities. I network with other business owners in Gilbert, Scottsdale, and the way how this city is, it's very particular. They're really good because we're a small community, so we're family at the end of the day, I think, and that's how they treat you. They don't treat you just as a business owner. They care about you. They really care about your business. Like when at the moment you think, oh my God, how stressful. It's at the end of the day, you realize as a business owner, they're trying to protect you. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I got an email from the city a year ago or so, and that kind of motivated me, along with our own goals as a family, to look into a perfect space for our business, for our vision. We decided to purchase our own property. My son is 18, so we didn't want to commit to another 5 years of lease. We did all the process with the city, and we found this perfect location. There's this topic about the city, then it's really hard to deal with them, then they make the process really hard. Well, that was not my experience. I can tell you, I was a little bit nervous to do all the process with, permit, zoning, building. From the beginning to the end, I had a very smooth process. There was a group of people working with the city for my project. Dania was like a mediator, and she was always making sure that everything was gonna be smooth. And Mr. Dell, he took time off his work to meet us here with my contractor. To make sure that we were doing things correctly. I don't see that happening in other cities. I network with other business owners in Gilbert, Scottsdale, and the way how this city is, it's very particular. They're really good because we're a small community, so we're family at the end of the day, I think, and that's how they treat you. They don't treat you just as a business owner. They care about you. They really care about your business. Like when at the moment you think, oh my God, how stressful. It's at the end of the day, you realize as a business owner, they're trying to protect you. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I got an email from the city a year ago or so, and that kind of motivated me, along with our own goals as a family, to look into a perfect space for our business, for our vision. We decided to purchase our own property. My son is 18, so we didn't want to commit to another 5 years of lease. We did all the process with the city, and we found this perfect location. There's this topic about the city, then it's really hard to deal with them, then they make the process really hard. Well, that was not my experience. I can tell you, I was a little bit nervous to do all the process with, permit, zoning, building. From the beginning to the end, I had a very smooth process. There was a group of people working with the city for my project. Dania was like a mediator, and she was always making sure that everything was gonna be smooth. And Mr. Dell, he took time off his work to meet us here with my contractor. To make sure that we were doing things correctly. I don't see that happening in other cities. I network with other business owners in Gilbert, Scottsdale, and the way how this city is, it's very particular. They're really good because we're a small community, so we're family at the end of the day, I think, and that's how they treat you. They don't treat you just as a business owner. They care about you. They really care about your business. Like when at the moment you think, oh my God, how stressful. It's at the end of the day, you realize as a business owner, they're trying to protect you. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I got an email from the city a year ago or so, and that kind of motivated me, along with our own goals as a family, to look into a perfect space for our business, for our vision. We decided to purchase our own property. My son is 18, so we didn't want to commit to another 5 years of lease. We did all the process with the city, and we found this perfect location. There's this topic about the city, then it's really hard to deal with them, then they make the process really hard. Well, that was not my experience. I can tell you, I was a little bit nervous to do all the process with, permit, zoning, building. From the beginning to the end, I had a very smooth process. There was a group of people working with the city for my project. Dania was like a mediator, and she was always making sure that everything was gonna be smooth. And Mr. Dell, he took time off his work to meet us here with my contractor. To make sure that we were doing things correctly. I don't see that happening in other cities. I network with other business owners in Gilbert, Scottsdale, and the way how this city is, it's very particular. They're really good because we're a small community, so we're family at the end of the day, I think, and that's how they treat you. They don't treat you just as a business owner. They care about you. They really care about your business. Like when at the moment you think, oh my God, how stressful. It's at the end of the day, you realize as a business owner, they're trying to protect you. And that's what I'm most grateful for. I got an email from the city a year ago or so, and that kind of motivated me, along with our own goals as a family, to look into a perfect space for our business, for our vision. We decided to purchase our own property. My son is 18, so we didn't want to commit to another 5 years of lease. We did all the process with the city.
for being here tonight. I'd like to welcome you to the regular City Council meeting of April 1st, 2025. Call the meeting to order, and I would like to invite up Pastor Josh Barrett from Church of Celebration to give our invocation, after which, if Councilmember Manfredi would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able.
Wisdom, and we pray that you would move in mighty ways in this beautiful community. We love you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Pastor Josh. It's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. And thank you, Councilmember Manfredi. That'll take us to roll call. Vanessa, please.
Councilmember Gettle.
Present.
Councilmember Noor.
Present.
Councilmember Learman.
Here.
Councilmember Marsh.
Here.
Councilmember Manfredi.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wade.
Here.
Mayor Smith.
Here.
Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Tonight we have no proclamations, acknowledgements, awards, and presentations, so we'll move right to the report from Mayor and City Council. Council members, what do you have to share? Yes, Councilmember Lehrman.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things I wanted to share this evening. On March 20th, I was able to attend the Senior Lunch and Learn with Councilmember Marsh, and Suzanne Payan from Community Action Human Resource Agency was the presenter. She did a great job, and she shared resources that are available to citizens here in Maricopa. And according to the recent housing assessment, it looks like about 8,000 of our residents may benefit from these services, so I'm just going to share what they are. Crisis and non-crisis utility assistance, homeless emergency shelter and hotel, housing, past due rent, first month's rent deposits, eviction prevention, rental assistance, weatherization, home repair, replacement of utility appliances, electric, gas, and water, home visits, case plans, and referrals. They also do installation of adaptive aids such as grab bars and handicap accessibility. They provide diapers for ages 0 to 5 and senior citizens, and they provide nutrition programs for children, women, and senior citizens, which I didn't know that part, that senior citizens can apply for WIC as well. They also provide Southwest Gas low-income ratepayer assistance and a very helpful home energy savings checklist. So if you or anyone you know is interested or could help get help for those things, the phone number is 520-466-1112. And then on March 19th, I watched the Pinal County Supervisor meeting regarding air quality in Pinal County. It was a really interesting topic. Mayor Smith and Councilmember Noor were present at the meeting and advocated for their support for the expansion on 347, which was a unanimous support. The meeting discussed the national ambient air quality standards for ozone, and there's a small portion of Pinal County that is not meeting the standard. This area includes Gold Canyon, Queen Creek, Santan Valley, and Queen Valley. It's approximately 300 miles of our county. Just some interesting information about it. Summer afternoon hours are the highest levels of concern, so just to be aware of that. And then contributors to ozone are contributors to ground level ozone include cars, trucks, power plants, chemical plants, paints, cleaners, industrial, refineries, solvents, lawn equipment, flora, wood burning, fireworks, and wildfires. The attainment date to meet this goal is 2027. One last interesting piece of information is Pinal County is currently updating our codes to match Maricopa County so that no industrial places choose to build in Pinal County over Maricopa County due to a lower code, so I was really appreciative of that. There is an interactive air map online called Air Now. And if you're interested in knowing your air quality, you can just go onto that map and put in your address, and it'll tell you the air quality for your area. I did it this morning, and it was yellow, which is just a little bit above green. And if you're interested in helping ozone, ways you can do that is to carpool, fuel your vehicle after dark or during cooler evening hours, avoid using leaf blowers, and conserve your electricity. This was information I wanted to share about a work session that Pinal County Board of Supervisors had as well on March 13th. And this meeting was to discuss the fire risk in our county. Thank you to Supervisor Rich Vitiello and Chief Patassi for their participation in this meeting. Pinal County is the largest rural county in the state. And if you live in an HOA, you're way ahead of things because of the regulations for HOA. It decreases the brush and vegetation around your home, so that is helpful already. And then also, our fire hydrants here in Maricopa are tested every 18 months to make sure that water flow is available so that firefighters have access. And then Supervisor Vitiello requested the State Department of Forestry and Fire Management to contact Union Pacific and request that they clear any brush along the railroad here in Maricopa to make sure that that doesn't make us more vulnerable to fires. And if you don't know, Pinal County has a PEN system, which is the Pinal Emergency Notification System. This is a mass notification system for flood, thunderstorm, weather alerts, red flag fire warnings, frost advisory, heat and cold advisories, and shelter-in-place advisories. There are city and county alerts, and you can select your area so that you're not over-alerted. And the last information that I thought was interesting about that meeting is if we ever needed air support for fire, our air support comes from Casa Grande and Marana, which are very close to Maricopa, and so that was reassuring as well. And then I just wanted to share a couple events that are coming up. On Saturday, April 12th at 9 a.m., there's going to be a Scottish Heritage Month cultural event. It's a bagpipe band recruitment. So if you're interested in hearing live bagpipes or you're interested in learning to play, please join us at the library on the lawn at 9 a.m. on April 12th. And next week is the Week of the Child, and on April 7th from 4 to 6 at the Milton Paul Antone Memorial Park, Akchen will be hosting in partnership with Molina Healthcare an event for families and children. So again, that's April 7th from 4 to 6 at Milton Paul Antone Memorial Park. And if you're looking for a spring activity, Central Arizona College is hosting a Bunny Bash on April 16th from 12 to 5. They have free pictures with the Easter Bunny and goodie bags and resource tables. And then also Pinal County is hosting a summer youth employment program, May 27th through July 11th, and this is for students ages 16 to 20. So if you know anyone in those age groups, the interns will be paid. It's a paid internship, and you can contact Arizona at Work. And then lastly, I wanted to share my deepest condolences to the Farrell family. Alma Farrell was, I think, the first or second person I met here when I moved to Maricopa. I met her in the parking lot at the school district building right before the first board meeting that I attended. And Alma was an amazing woman and person and a leader in our community, and she will be deeply missed. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. That was a plethora of information. I appreciate that. I think that's fantastic. Councilmember Knorr.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items I wanted to report on. As Councilwoman Learman mentioned, I was able to attend the Pinal County Supervisors meeting with the mayor, and we were able to advocate for Supervisor Vitiello's resolution to contribute $20 million towards the State Route 347 widening, which is really crucial. So it was great to be a part of that. And then I was later that week, I was able to go back to Florence and attend the new county attorney's open house, where they invited elected officials and leaders from the county to come meet the new county attorney and his staff. And it was a really great event. I got to tour the county attorney offices, and they talked about the new special victims unit that the county attorney has implemented to really crack down on child sex trafficking, which is really important, and I'm happy that we have that happening in Pinal County now. And I know that the county attorney and his staff said that they've reached out to the chief, and they've had great conversations with chief, and they look forward to working with Maricopa on enforcement. So I think it's the future looks bright, and it was great to attend that. I want to also, I'm on the Cultural Affairs and Arts, I'm the liaison to the Cultural Affairs and Arts Committee, and so we will be putting out a new call for artists for the next gallery, which is in the library. And if you haven't gone to see those, they're really something special. We have a lot of fantastic artists here in the community, but if you are an artist or you know somebody who's an artist, have them be on the lookout for that call for artists for the next gallery. And then on that note, the Heritage Academy in Maricopa, which is just down the street, has a play that's going on this weekend called Anastasia, and they do a really fantastic job putting on performances there. And so if you enjoy plays, if you enjoy the arts, if you're looking for something to do, I highly encourage you to check that out. And then finally, I just echo Councilwoman Learman's comments about the passing of Alma Farrell. She was a mentor to me when I served on the school board, just a fantastic lady that I absolutely looked up to. And it's really sad to have that loss, but her legacy remains forever. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Noor. Okay, Councilmember Marsh.
Yes, the water committees I'm on are still tracking water bills through the state legislature. One interesting point, one legislator put a poison pill amendment on one of our bills. We're trying to shed it. That's politics. I chaired the Board of Adjustments meeting last week in Florence at the county, and learned that the county hasn't figured out yet how to recover from the supervisors trashing their zoning code update. The planning department is waiting for direction from the supervisors. The senior lunch and learn has been very successful. Remember, there's 3 door prizes, $50 each. That's better odds than Harrah's. It's the third Thursday of each month. You get a sandwich, chips, and water from Sprouts for $5. And then you get to learn something interesting from a talented speaker. I'm excited about the Worldwide Music Festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I understand that our Friday act got busted, and we're replacing him with 1 or 2 others. That should be interesting. But I'm looking forward to that event. And regarding Alma Farrell's passing, darn, she will be missed. She was an incredible woman and a real leader here in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Marsh. Councilmember Guerrero.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Just a couple of items. Councilmember Noor reminded us of the opportunity to go see Anastasia at Heritage Academy. Also at MUSD, or excuse me, at MHS, our high school, Maricopa High School, they are performing Little Women this weekend. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you have the opportunity to maybe Thursday night at Heritage and Friday night over at Maricopa High. So full of arts, love it. With our Desert Sunrise kiddos, I wanted to invite us to participate in a backpack drive. This is being hosted by the Future Business Leaders of America youth group club there on campus. They're trying to find backpacks, new or gently used, for students in need there in that high school. If you're willing to participate, you can pick up a backpack and then drop it off just at the front office there at Desert Sunrise, and those will be handed out as a need basis there on campus. Last Saturday, a few days ago, I had the privilege of being able to attend a memorial service here in our city for our Vietnam veterans. It was hosted here by our Veterans Center. It was a beautiful ceremony as we remembered those that served and honored those that served, and tried to put into perspective the sacrifice that individuals and families make to promote our way of life, our freedom, our liberties. It was a wonderful and solemn occasion to be a part of that on Saturday morning. Later that afternoon, the Veterans Center, Veterans Groups, they had a memorial fundraiser, and they're trying to raise funds for their memorial, which will take place just outside of Copper Sky at the old dispatch center, if you guys are familiar with where that's at. So they are still looking for donors that would be interested in helping to fund the field cross that they're trying to raise the money to put in that location. You can contact any one of our veterans groups if you're interested in donating to that cause. I believe that is all I have here for this evening. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Yes, thank you very much, Councilmember Gettle. Councilmember Manfredi.
Transportation, exciting stuff. Over the last couple weeks, we've done a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations, a lot of talking back and forth. Transportation, of course, is always going to be one of the most important things for the city of Maricopa. We all care about it. We all worry about it. And if you ask anybody what their top 3 issues are in the city of Maricopa, transportation usually is number 1. And if it's not number 1, it's in the top 3. The SR 347, of course, is the most important thing when it comes to transportation. So 2 weeks ago, back on, I think, the 21st, drove down to Yuma the night before, and we were there for the State Transportation Board meeting, where we got to talk a little bit about different things, not just one aspect of give me money for the 347, but why. So a lot of us spoke at that meeting, and I spoke about safety, of course, and how many accidents that happened there, how many rear-end accidents and all of that, and other council members spoke, the mayor spoke, and others from the community. Bill spoke, and a couple other folks spoke about it and how important it is. And I can't stress to you guys how important it is for us to continue the pressure we put on the state at all levels when it comes towards the SR 347. With that said, RTAC, which I serve on the Rural Transportation Advisory Committee for the state of Arizona, we had a meeting last week on Wednesday, but instead of a meeting, we got together and had a strategy session, canceled our meeting, and we went over to the legislature, where we spoke at the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, where Chair Biasucci brought us in. And he brought us in because we have a bill, RTAC, and we run it every year, and a lot of people stress they support it, but it never really passes. And it's a bill for rural transportation. It's not really meant to pass. What it is meant to do is really discuss the projects within the bill with individual legislators and talk to legislators about why it's important. It might pass a committee here and there, but the real goal of it is to get the projects notoriety so that they can then be pushed into the budget as separate budget lines. So the bill itself is not as important as the stuff that's in it. So we talked there about the 347 and other RTAC issues, regional issues, but it was kind of funny is that when I was introduced and I went up, and one of the things we spoke about, as always we speak about, is the level of action, I guess you would call it, or involvement by the city of Maricopa and our folks that are sending letters and emails and such to every legislator. And I said that it's our form of extortion, but it's not really extortion because it's a negotiation, and that's what lawyers do. So we were talking and we were laughing, but it's really important to remember that everything we do nonstop, we have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, because there's no way that we can be ignored when we speak as one. So please go to SR 347 Facts, 347facts.com, fill that out, and if you don't feel comfortable doing that, email your legislators. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, call your legislators. If you don't feel comfortable calling or emailing, show up and talk to them. Teresa Martinez, our legislator for our district, for LD 16, she's very much in favor of getting this done. She gives out her cell phone, so I don't think she'd have a problem. Text me, I'll give it to you. And you can call and text her and speak with her directly and tell her what's important to you. We're at a good point right now with the 347, I believe. A lot of things are falling into place where we could see some work happening soon, which is a good thing. So keep the pressure on, keep talking to people, keep the SR 347 on the top of everybody's mind, because as the budget gets discussed and stuff starts falling out of the budget, what we don't want falling out of the budget is our road, and we need them to know the importance. Thank you.
Councilmember Manfredi, where was that website that I could go to send that email?
I don't know, 347 something. What is it?
347facts.com.
Is it
He knows it.
347 facts.
You sure that's it?
I'm positive.
Can you say it again?
347facts.com.
Facts.com.
That's it.
Yep.
Set it and
Goes to
forget it.
over 100 elected officials in our state, including our Board of Supervisor representative and all the Board of Supervisors. And now they're tired of hearing about it. Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just really quickly want to also speak upon Ms. Farrell. Farrell. She was quite a lady and was devoted to the community regardless of what color you wore and where you were, except the fact that she probably preferred that you eat over at headquarters, which I do on a regular basis. It's really good. But just God bless her and her family. And if you know them and know the family, a kind word would always probably be a good thing. Thank you very much, Madam
You're
Mayor.
welcome. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember Manfredi had one more thing on his list. He got so excited about 347.
My apologies. I was talking so much. I get so excited and I just moved on. SB 1229, the bill commonly referred to as the AZ Starter Home Act. It is crap, and it's that simple. Basically, this bill itself allows for developers to build whatever they want, whenever they want in your area. Basically, it applies to all cities. It preempts cities from interfering with a home buyer's right to choose the features, structure, amenities, floor plan, interior, exterior design of the home. It also prohibits requiring a shared amenity like an open place or playground, open space or playground. What does that mean? It means it basically tells you can't have an HOA. Or screening walls, shared fences. The section specific to cities above 70,000 population, that's us, prohibits cities from requiring lot sizes bigger than 3,000 square feet in developments over 5 acres, setbacks greater than 10 feet, meaning houses right up on the road. It's ridiculous. But when you guys tell us, stop building houses, no, it's not happening. Because when you look at it, the state wants to make it easier than it is today. And it's already easy to build a house in the city of Maricopa and as well as the state of Arizona, but the state wants to make it easier. But the horrible part about it is, it's called the AZ Starter Home Act. So what does that mean? It means, hopefully, low-priced homes for starter homes for people to move into. But the bill itself says absolutely nothing about keeping houses inexpensive. Actually, there's like nothing in the bill at all that would say that these houses have to be inexpensive. There's nothing in the bill at all that says that these houses can't be sold to a conglomerate that buys them all one minute they're built and then tries to rent them out. So the reality is, it's not a good bill for cities. It's a good bill for home builders, a very bad, and developers, bad bill for cities. So when you're out there talking to your legislators about the 347, tell them to say no to SB 1229. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Manfredi. Whew. Okay, here we go. So nobody talked about the Washington, D.C. trip. Councilmember Noor and Councilmember Manfredi and Katie, our intergov, went with me to Washington, D.C. We talked to a plethora of Congress members and our senators' offices. And what we did, we talked about some really important things. State Route 347, as you know, the design is about ready to be finished in Q1 of next year. We want to be ready to pounce with a grant request to our federal legislators, and they're on board. So that was really good news. We also talked about the ozone, which Councilmember Learman brought up, and they're on top of it in terms of trying to modify how that value that's given by the EPA is adjusted because of international air that comes our way, a number of things, but they're on top of it. But for James Singleton, I know, and Bill Robertson and anybody's 347facts.com, Councilmember Learman came up with a good idea, so I'll be bringing her and that idea to the 347facts.com group. And then lastly, we talked about ambulance service. As you all know, we applied for a certificate of necessity to bring ambulance service directly to our city, and that's going to be requiring us to purchase expensive ambulances. So we talked to them about grants specifically for these ambulances. Every single one of them were open to the idea. So that's why we go to Washington, D.C. It's very important. Last time we went, we brought back $6.25 million for an aquifer recharge. So I'm gonna go on a trip face to face with these folks and bring back 6.25. Hopefully this year we bring back money for ambulances. We'll see as it progresses through their system. Second of all, the State Transportation Board meeting in Yuma was discussed. I personally want to thank Councilmember Manfredi, Councilmember Knorr, Supervisor Vidiello, Ron Angerami, Priscilla Benke, Sharon Walker, Bill Robertson, Katie Proctor, who, as I indicated, is our intergov, and myself, all spoke. And one thing that I have to share is that at the supervisor meeting when we went to speak for 347, I let them know that my new love language is 347. Anytime my husband wants my attention, he just has to go 347. And I'm like, what? And so, that's how important and that's how often we talk about it. But the interesting point that Councilmember Manfredi referred to is he's exactly right. This time we took a different message because we want to keep giving them more and more information that they can't even deny us getting on this year's 5-year plan. And this year we talked about growth. Believe it or not, when you're evaluating where money is spent on roads in the state, growth is not even considered. We're like, it's a huge missing element. We talked about City of Maricopa being the fifth fastest growing city, and how can you not apply growth as one of the scenarios. We talked about safety, as Councilmember Manfredi talked about. Councilmember Knorr talked about community funding. We reminded them of our plan to be a participant in the funding on this project. So new stories every single time. I feel like next time I'm going to give them a summary of everything I told you. You know how they say, tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them, and then tell them what you told them. I think I'm at that point where I'm going to tell them what I told them over the last year. But it's really important, and I thank all of you for your participation. Thank you for the letters at 347facts.com. Went to the Dancing for Our Stars for Boys and Girls Club. Happy to say the City of Maricopa brought home the mirror ball. Rusty Acres raised over $40,000 for our Boys and Girls Club. That is the most anybody has raised in 4 years of celebrities participating in Dancing for Our Stars. So I'm really proud of the City of Maricopa, really proud of him. And then all the other dancers, they were phenomenal. If you know Priscilla Benke, she was so sweet. I'm like, it was delightful. And you can watch it online. Also, Adam Leach has helped me over the last 4 or 5 years operate the Rocket Challenge. This year was the 10th anniversary that we started the Rocket Challenge. I'm sad to say he offered a competition between fire, police, myself, and my husband, and I thought for sure I had it won, but police edged me out. I'm like, dang, Police Chief Goodman built a mighty fine rocket. Yeah, pretty cool. But thank you, Adam Leach. And thank you to Jim Irving, who works with us with the Rotary Club, and Guy Smith, who's our rocket expert, and the blended learning teachers. We couldn't do it. And there's more to come. We'll be coming back with that topic. In the work session last Tuesday, if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to watch it, because there's a lot of dialogue going on out there, and most of it's incorrect, in my opinion. Watch it. Find out what we talked about. There were some major wins in that conversation, and let me give you 2 examples. The committee changes that we're making. We got feedback from our committee members, from our community members, that committees weren't able to offer as much as they possibly could in terms of advocating for our city. So we made some changes, and I say that because they're great changes. They bring committees back to a really interactive part of our city, and I'm excited about that. But there are committee openings, and I reminded council at the end of the meeting that this sets a different level of expectation for our committee members. So if you're interested in one of the committees, find out where the openings are, and please talk to your council members, because they'll be kind of helping to share what those higher expectations are. We also talked about partnerships with nonprofit and private entities to enhance programs for our residents. It was a great conversation on that topic as well, so I encourage you to go watch the video if you're interested in that. I also attended the grand opening of the Desert Sunrise Greenhouse, which is one thing that we have in our city that many cities don't have. A school, a STEM program operated by FFA to have a greenhouse and to understand the science associated with growing things, with what careers you can gather around a greenhouse. It was fascinating. And I'm sure if you're interested, they'd be willing to give you a tour as well. Saturday was a crazy day. How many felt that? Like, I was all over this place. I know, I kept bumping into people. I went to the fire alarm walk for deaf and hard of hearing. It was also for other residents who don't have fire alarms. And 4 groups went out and installed fire alarms into these homes, one for every bedroom, one in the hallway that enters down to the bedrooms. But really important for deaf and hard of hearing. And I had to ask, how does that work? Basically, you put something by your bed that vibrates if the alarms go off, and then obviously if you're awake, they strobe. So really, really cool, and that was all volunteer-led and through a nonprofit that brought all of those alarms together. Right, Jim? Great program. And then I went to Copa Creates Art Festival at Maricopa High School. Phenomenal opportunity there to see all of the art that a lot of young people do, and then some that have small businesses within the city as well. It was a great event. I went to the Police Volunteer Barbecue. Now this is pretty cool, have to share with you. Chief Goodman shared this. These volunteers, through their volunteer hours and the various things they do, have donated the value of enough hours that brings the value up to $500,000 of services to the city of Maricopa. Pretty impressive. I'm totally impressed. If you're curious about what they do and interested in that group, you could probably ask Chief Goodman. I know he'd talk about it very easily. They did a great job honoring these volunteers. And then I went to the Veterans Chili Cook-Off, where they were raising money for their memorial park. I was way impressed with that as well. And then I went to the Relay for Life, which this is the 14th year for Relay for Life fighting cancer. It was really wonderful. Now, something I just recently posted that I think you'll all find interesting is, myself and probably the council members, probably staff, and definitely our residents as well. Anytime I get an email from a resident that says, can you get more patrolling on 347? It's a crazy world out there. Can you get more? I always point them to who to send that to DPS, so they get credit too. But based on a new captain being assigned to our region and reviewing all of those past emails, this captain decided that he was going to approve extra shifts for 347. And he sees it continuing through the months to come. So just as an example, for the month of March, 17 extra shifts, 130.5 hours of deputies on 347, 220 stops, 195 of those were hazardous citations that were given. That's like, think about that percentage. It's almost everyone they stopped received a hazardous citation. 14 restrained citations, 36 other citations, and 1 DUI. 91% of the stops resulted in a citation. So if you have an opportunity and you think about it and you want more of that, please send an email. And if you're curious about who to send it to, let me know and I'll let you know. Because again, your voice matters, because this captain, it takes this captain who cares for his new region to go look at all those emails and go, wow, there's a real need. It also helps that his parents live out here, so. Yeah. So that helps as well, but your voice matters, and he said it made a big difference in his decision making. Please attend April 10th the first informational meeting for half-cent sales tax. This one is April 10th, 10 o'clock at the community center. There are 2 others, and if you can't find that information on our website, please let me know. Email me, text me, call me if you have my telephone number, and I'll get that information. There will be 2 following that. This is hugely important, and I think staff has done a really good job putting all the input together on explaining why, how, where, accountability. I think all of your questions will be answered, and if not, you can ask the question and we'll make sure it gets answered. And then lastly, yes, my prayers and my condolences to the Farrell family. I told the story in Maricopa and to the Monitor in regards to, I moved out here pre-incorporation. And so one of the first people I met as well was Miss Alma Farrell. And I was fascinated by her because she was part of the Rotary Club. She was the superintendent. She was engaged in the founding of the city of Maricopa. So many wonderful things. But what I really appreciated is that in a day when MUSD wasn't ready or even thinking about sharing their facilities with nonprofits or with the city to be able to accomplish things, since back then we didn't have any buildings. She allowed me to work with her and her staff to get a plan in place to offer those facilities. So she was open to that idea. It was ice-breaking for back then, and I really appreciate her for that. She had so many things that she offered to the city of Maricopa, and she will be dearly missed. Whew. That was a lot, you guys. All right, now we're ready to move on to, and I didn't tell you this, but the city manager has an equally long report. Oh, hold on one second. And remind of the Wild West Music Fest. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, Councilmember Marsh, already mentioned it. Yeah. Okay, all right, give us your 20 minutes of.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Just to reiterate on the Wild West Music Fest, that is the 4th through the 6th, so this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On Friday, a new headliner was announced. That's Baby Bash, Suga Suga, if you know that song. And then also still with Twista on Friday. Saturday, Leon Rhymes, and then Sunday is some hometown headliners. And so we'll expect to have a good time out there at Copper Sky for that. As part of that, but something that will be ongoing and something exciting, a new addition to the community are pedal boats. So the dock has been installed and pedal boats are out there, and we'll start seeing those available for rent for anyone in the community to rent those. Dragons or swans or ducks, I think, are the three animals that you can rent on the pedal boats. And so exciting things and new offerings within our city that we'll have for hopefully many years to come. So that's what I have tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. You saved us 19 minutes. Just teasing. Okay, that'll take us to the call to the public. Let me read really quickly. The procedures to follow if you address the council are: council requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The mayor will limit discussion whenever they deem as such an action as appropriate to proper conduct of the meeting. At the conclusion of the open call to the public, individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. However, council members shall not discuss or take action on any matters during the open call to the public unless the matters have properly been noticed for discussion and legal action. So I do have 2 speaker cards tonight, and the first one we'll bring up is Peg Chapados.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Peg Chapados. You guys probably don't hear this as much as you should. Thanks for all you do. Obviously, from the reports, you guys have been very, very, very busy. So I'm here tonight to share an opportunity with the citizens of Maricopa. Our police and fire departments do so much for our city, and now's our chance to give back. So if you haven't heard, on Friday the 11th of April at 6 p.m. at Leading Edge Academy, The police union, Lodge 78, and our fire union, Local 4561, are going to have a charity basketball game. If nothing else, come for the entertainment value. It's going to be a fun evening. They also have a free throw contest. There's going to be a raffle. There'll be concessions there. So this is a great way. It's $5 per person. Kids under, I think it's under 5 are free. Leading Edge is located on Porter Road right next to Pecana Park. 6 o'clock, come out and support our police and fire people. Say thank you, be entertained, you know, watch some of the antics and see how good a shape they're in, and just have a great evening. The other thing I want to do is I share your sympathies to the Farrell family. I had the pleasure of meeting Alma and working with her on several occasions. But I want to share an opportunity for Maricopans. Every Wednesday at the Historical Museum on Maricopa Casa Grande Highway, we have coffee on the porch from 9 to 11. There's a lot of old-time Maricopa people that stop in there. It's a great way to sit, have some coffee. There's usually fresh baked goods, and just meet some of these people that you hear us talking about. It's drop in, drop out. I mean, you can tour the museum while you're there. If there's people that are in the Zephyr, they'll take you over and show you that. That's amazing. But it's a great way to connect with the people who helped build this town and help keep it going. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peg Chapados. My next speaker is Judith Lang-Zaymont.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, and neighbors. I'm Judith Zaymont, a composer and one of 4 co-directors of Maricopa Arts Council, and I'm here today to announce a very, very special double whammy arts evening on April 12th. We'll have the bagpipes in the morning, and then we will have something different in the evening. Maricopa Arts Council is an independent nonprofit founded in season 2012-2013, and our mission has always been empowering the arts. We know that the arts are a vast realm housing many individual worlds. Arts with words, arts without words, arts in sound alone, arts in sight alone, arts purely in movement, arts in design, whether fashion or cake decoration or how you present your person to the world. All of that takes artistry, and all of that takes time to develop, and a sense of commitment and skill. We believe in paying artists at MAC, and we celebrate every corner of Maricopa's creative community. And we know that comparison and competition serve to validate the arts in all types of public presentation. And so the many kinds of arts events we've brought to the city, poetry slams, choreographer competitions, the lecture series Inside the Creative Mind, beginning the galleries at City Hall in December of 2015, open mics, artist town halls, the book we published, the YouTube site celebrating Maricopa's arts that we superintend, which has close to 40 videos on it by now. All of that is done because we believe in empowering all the arts in our city. So what's happening on April 12th? The All Arizona Poetry Slam Championship. This is the 9th year in a row that this event is going on here in Maricopa. The event is immensely popular, and it brings to our city to enjoy the full spectrum of what Maricopa is all about, people from all over the state. Poets compete in their region and in their home city to present here in Maricopa. This Saturday, April 5th, is going to be the Sedona competition to generate the top 2 prize winners to come to Maricopa on April 12th and represent their city here. We have representatives coming from Flagstaff, from Mesa, from Chandler, from Ghost Poetry in Phoenix, from here in Maricopa and elsewhere around the state. And there is an online lottery going on right now to fill out the roster of 14 competitors. The event is going to be fantastic. It is free to attend, and it is at Honeycutt Coffee and Wine Bar. Our slam master is the engaging, spirited, and very opinionated nationally known slam poet Lydia Gates. So the event is going to be an evening of intriguing mini theater coupled with the prize ceremony for the online abstract art contest, which is ongoing right now. That closes on March 10th at midnight. So make sure you vote. We'll be sending word out wide and far about how to get online and cast your vote for any one of 33 works that are up for 3 money prizes. On April 12th, Maricopa Arts Council will be giving away more than $1,800 in prizes to the top 3 slam poets and the top 3 abstract art artists. P.S. The admission is free and everything is judged by you, the audience. You judge the abstract art contest, and the people who are present that night judge the poetry slam. In fact, 2 of the people sitting right up here before you have served as judges in previous All-Arizona Slam Championships. We hope to see everybody at Honeycut Coffee and Wine Bar. Doors open at 5:30 for Art on the Spot Prelude. Please come on down and see Maricopa's talent in full bloom.
Thank you. Thank you, Judith. And I will say, I say it every year, Judith comes forward for the Poetry Slam. It's a hoot.
It is.
So
it's a hoot.
You don't know anything until you've seen a Poetry Slam, so please consider it. Okay, that's the end of my speaker cards. Would anyone else like to come forward at this point? Please do. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, staff. Transportation 347. Never stop talking about it. Never stop sending us those emails. It's slowed down over the last week, so please keep it out there. We need to keep those emails going. So a couple weeks ago, we traveled down to Yuma, and Vince spoke, Nancy spoke, Anna Marie spoke, a lot of people spoke. And I appreciate the people who drove down there and the people who spoke. So I was able to talk with the Board of Supervisors, and as you may know, we were able, as a team over the past, present, council members, people in the audience working to get the county to donate $20 million for the 347. So I felt it was appropriate to come and give you each a letter so you can hang this in your office. So we will donate, the county will donate $20 million. And again, this was everybody's effort to get this money. This wasn't an I, this was a team effort. And it took years, because as you know, this is the first amount of money they're donating to the 347. The other thing I want to say before I give you this letter is, has anybody drove up the 347 in the last week, 10 days? Please, call Teresa Martinez and thank her. I called her 2 weeks ago and said, Teresa, this road is out of control. It is horrible. There's divots, there's potholes. 8-9 days later, the trucks are still out there fixing the 347. So Teresa is my champion and your guys' champion because she didn't hesitate. She said it'll be about a week to 10 days, and she got those roads, and they're fixing them every night, not during the day. So please, the council is always pushing for the 347. Teresa is my champion for the 347, and also Katie Proctor, also too. I want to make sure I recognize her too, because again, she's always an advocate for it. So, Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, I'd like to give you each a letter.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to approach the podium? Thank you. Seeing none, I will close the call to the public. That'll take us to the consent agenda. At this time, we have a consent agenda item 7.1 through 7.5. I have no speaker cards. Would council members, do you have any questions, concerns, want to pull anything off of the agenda? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Noor and seconded by Vice Mayor. Any another opportunity for questions, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much. That'll take us to the regular agenda, of which we have 3 items tonight. They're all related. We'll start with agenda item 8.1, and we have a presentation, I believe, from Josh Bowman.
If we can get those slides up. Just want to start as those are coming up, just to say thank you to council and to our development group. These have been some items that have really been worked through to make sure that what's coming to you tonight is in the best interest of the city, with a lot of negotiation and working back and forth, and really just appreciate everyone's efforts in trying to get us there. Very important for the city to have this, and we'll go through just a few things kind of quickly here. So again, we've talked about this. This is kind of the general area we're talking about. This is in 3 different agreements. Want to highlight the parts that we've really tried to work through to make sure this is in the best interest of the city. So we wanted to clarify and confirm that this is not a micro hospital, but it is an acute care hospital. This will have a minimum of 24 beds, 4 of which will be equipped at that higher ICU level. It will also have at least 1 operating procedural room. It will also have an emergency department with at least 10 treatment bays, diagnostics, imaging. And so all of these things are, again, where we really had to kind of negotiation push and say, you know what, this is what Maricopa needs, to include diagnostic imaging services, standalone hospital imaging services, including CT, MRI, and X-ray, as well as in that site plan, pharmacy, laboratory, material management, dietary services, cath lab, and then, of course, any other auxiliary services that are required by the hospital for its operations. We'll also include medical office buildings, which, again, we know have a significant need within the city. And so those, I know I went through those quickly. I know, Council, we walked through many of these different pieces together. With that, any questions? Again, these are kind of the highlight changes of really trying to work through. And again, appreciate all the effort. Council and our development team have come together to say, hey, this is where we need to be.
Very good. I have no speaker cards on any of these 3 items. Council, do you have any questions? Yes, Councilmember Noor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Josh. This was a great presentation, and I too appreciate all the time and effort spent to get where we are today, and I think it was well worth it, so thank you. I did let City Manager Bitters know that I had a question before, so he's prepared for this, but I had a great question from a member of the community that emailed me about this agenda item. They had read the contract, and so I want to ask that question just so that everybody understands why we do things the way we do, because I think transparency is awesome. And so I had a community member ask me why the fee was so low, the escrow amount was so low, when those of us who are used to buying homes, the escrow amount is much larger and for a smaller purchase price. And so City Manager, could you go ahead and explain that?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council, Councilmember Noor. When we have a typical home purchase, for example, your risk is very small. You have a home that's probably already built. It's usually not native land, but it's in an HOA. It's got its zoning approval. It's got its site plans. It's got its infrastructure in place, and everything is really there. It's a turnkey opportunity for you to go and purchase that home. When we have larger properties that are green land or land that hasn't yet been developed, there's a lot that goes into the development process. And when a property purchase comes forward, that purchaser often takes on additional risks that we don't see in a traditional home sale. So there's often a longer feasibility period. I know this one is a 90-day feasibility period, but there's often longer feasibility periods where those interested parties can go in, do their due diligence, but also start sometimes on those site plan works, on the zoning, and they're putting a lot of investment into the development of some of those plans that are going to be required to them to develop the property as it comes forward. And so it's not that it's an insignificant amount as a fee to open an escrow, but there are also set timelines where they have to hit milestones in the project to develop those site plans, have architectural renderings and all those kind of things that cost real money for a project development. And so we certainly want to be reasonable and acknowledge that there is an investment that doesn't come directly to the city, but is an investment into our community.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Very good. Any additional questions? Yes, Councilmember Marsh.
Yes, can you explain or summarize where this new hospital goes above and beyond what we already have with Exceptional?
So again, the goal of this is not to compare one hospital of another, but just say that we are excited to have some additional opportunities within the city. And so any hospitals coming in, we're very excited about. Some of the things that we wanted to make sure that this does add some additional capacity in the city is additional bays. They're going to be here. The emergency department, additional operational suites. So all of those things are things that we've, again, with the help of council, tried to push and say, these are things we really know that we need within the city.
And also, Banner has a way of doing business. They buy regional hospitals and put the banner on them. I'm wondering if this projected hospital might be expandable into a future Banner adventure.
Mayor, Councilmember Marsh, I cannot speak to which hospital provider this will be long-term. We know that developers are working with multiple of large-scale hospital providers and working through that to bring what they think is the best to the community.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Council members, any additional comments, questions? This has been a very interesting experience. I have to say I'm very proud of council for working through this and getting us to a point along with staff and going through the actions that we need to get it to the point of having the things that we need to have in the city of Maricopa. So I applaud you all. Thank you very much. And I applaud the developer as well for hanging in there with us. This, as you can tell, this is very important to us. And so we have high hopes for the development that you'll be bringing forward. So thank you very much. Given that, if there are no more questions or comments, do I have a motion? You make the motion. Motion to approve by Vice Mayor. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lehrman. One last chance for comments, questions.
Excuse me, this is
Yes.
for 8.1?
8.1. Okay. Yes. Any opportunity? Okay. No additional comments, questions. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. So the presentation for item 8.2 is the exact same presentation, probably the exact same conversation, but I don't want to take that for granted. Are there any additional comments, questions? Okay, great. Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Marsh. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilmember Gettle. Last chance for comments, questions. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. That'll take us to the last, which is exactly the same, just a different piece of property. That will be 8.3. I have no speaker cards, and I'm assuming no questions, comments. Very good. So do I have a motion to approve item 8.3?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Gettle. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Marsh, I believe. Yes, okay. Last chance for conversation, questions. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This motion carries. Congratulations. And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Thank you very much for participating.